The powerful officials killed the monarch, the imperial power changed, the world changed hands, the young crown prince drifted to the common people, was saved by hidden experts, changed his name and surname, lived in seclusion in the mountains and forests, practiced martial arts, learned medical skills, studied military tactics, and understood the strategy of governing the country. After reaching adulthood, he was ordered by his master to go down the mountain and get married. With the help of mysterious forces and 5 senior sisters, he collected the wealth and power of the world, pacified the black and evil forces of the world, took control of the military power of the world, strengthened the diplomacy of the world, and finally regained the imperial power, avenging his parents and family. Chapter 1. The White-Clothed Youth on the Demon Subduing Peak. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the demon subduing peak in the back mountain of Wudang, a young man dressed in a white Taoist robe, slender and handsome, with a fairy-like demeanor, descended from the sky and stood on a large stone under a pine tree. In the open space ahead, a group of fierce masked black-clothed men were standing, holding various weapons and besieging the white-clothed boy. One of them said, "Kid, if you know the truth, you can make a decision on your own, so that we don't suffer from manual labor." The young man in white said, "If you have the ability, just let your horse come over." The man in black said, "Kid, to be honest, we are all top experts in the martial arts world. If we don't want to die too unsightly, we will take care of ourselves and leave you with a whole body. Otherwise, we will break you to pieces." The young man in white said, "I was curious. We haven't met before, why do you want to kill me?" The man in black said, "Stop talking nonsense, you must die today, let's go up together and kill him." Subsequently, the group of black-clothed men rushed towards the white-clothed boy with knives. The white-clothed boy saw this and looked at the pine tree leaves on the ground. He waved his sleeve vigorously, and the pine tree leaves on the ground flew towards the black-clothed man like needles. In an instant, all the black-clothed men fell to the ground, spitting blood from their mouths, and died silently. They didn't know yet that the young man in white was Xiao Chen, the proud disciple of Li Xinren, the head of the Wudang Sage Hall. He is well versed in martial arts, medical ethics, military strategy, and governance strategies, and is well versed in them. He also has 5 beautiful senior sisters who combine beauty and wisdom, each outstanding and with their own strengths. However, they have all achieved something and have long since gone down the mountain. As for Xiao Chen, he stayed on the mountain to continue his cultivation because he was young, only 20 years old this year. Xiao Chen is known for his master's authentic teachings in martial arts and medicine. He has exceptional talent and a high level of understanding. In addition to being able to use Tai Chi exceptionally well, his cultivation level is even more astonishing. He has already surpassed the peak of martial arts and is close to the realm of semi-immortality. No wonder he can quickly kill numerous martial arts experts with just a flick of his finger. In terms of medical ethics, Xiao Chen can be said to be self-taught. He grew up in the medical school of the Sage Hall, Wudang Medical School, which is world-famous and has many famous doctors. All major medical institutions in the country have their disciples, and even many imperial doctors in the imperial palace have learned medical ethics here. He read all the medical classics in the world and became familiar with his brother. He often followed his master, his brother and his sister to help people heal, especially acupuncture and moxibustion. On the way back to the mountain, Xiao Chen seemed to be surrounded by people staring at him, but when he turned to look around, he didn't notice anything. In the CEO's office of Deep Sea Hidden Dragon Group, a mysterious woman was answering the phone when she heard the voice say, "I have found the young master." Mysterious woman. Where is the young master now? The person on the phone said, "On Wudang Mountain, the identity of the young master seems to have been exposed. Someone is chasing him." Mysterious woman. Be sure to protect the safety of the young master. The person on the phone said, "I understand, but it seems that the young master's martial arts skills are very high. Before I can take action, the young master just flicked his finger and killed all those assassins." Mysterious woman. Continue to secretly protect the young master. If the young master leaves the mountain, please notify me immediately. The person on the phone said, I take orders. In the lobby of the underground Dragon Killer Society in Kyoto, a mysterious person wearing a black robe and half covering his face is reporting to the leader sitting on the main hall chair, wearing a half-face mask. None of the people we sent have returned. Upon hearing these words, the mysterious man sitting there seemed a bit surprised. You really underestimate him. With so many experts dispatched, the entire army has been destroyed. Let's give orders for now and not act rashly. Let's wait and see what happens. There is Li Junren in Wudong, and it's not good for us to provoke him. Black-robed man, yes, this is what I'm doing. After repelling the unidentified expert, Xiao Chen came to Wudong Medical Hall, which was decorated with many ancient medical books, famous medical classics from various countries around the world, and the latest medical achievements, as well as portraits of famous doctors throughout history and the world. At this moment, the medical brothers in the medical school were treating a severely injured person, and next to them stood a young and beautiful woman anxiously watching the injured man lying on the hospital bed. After seeing Xiao Chen, the senior brothers quickly ran over and said, Xiao junior brother, please help take a look. This patient's injury is very serious, with both external and internal injuries. We have helped him stop bleeding and clean up the wound, but his internal injury is very serious, as if he was hit by a huge internal force, his meridians are completely broken, and senior brother is powerless. After speaking, Xiao Chen came to the person's side, took a look, and was about to reach out and feel his pulse. As a result, he was stopped by the woman and said, Stop it, what are you doing? I heard you say earlier that you seem to be his junior brother. Can you cure a disease that even senior brothers cannot cure? Before Xiao Chen could answer the woman's words, her senior brother hurriedly said, Miss, I don't know. Our medical school doesn't live by seniority and seniority. It's not that high seniority and old age lead to high medical skills. It's about talent. To be honest, if my junior brother Xiao can't cure a disease in the medical school, then this person may not be saved. After hearing these words, the woman panicked and quickly apologized to Xiao Chen, Please don't take it amiss, sir. Just now, the little woman was eager to save her father and offended the master. I hope you don't remember the villains and save my father. After listening, Xiao Chen said, Is he your father? Woman. Yes. Xiao Chen. So how did he get injured? Upon hearing these words, the woman's mind suddenly recalled the scene of her and her father coming with a group of subordinates, admiring the name, and traveling to Wudong. At that time, their group had reached halfway up the mountain when they suddenly discovered a man in black. My father chased after him and fought against him. Who would have thought that the opponent's martial arts were extremely high, and my father's subordinates were simply unbeatable in front of him. With just one sweep of his leg, the opponent knocked down everyone. During the confrontation, my father was hit in multiple places on his body with a branch by the opponent. Finally, my father exerted all his strength and rushed towards the opponent, trying to knock them down with a punch. Upon seeing this, the other party leaped and immediately jumped into mid-air, then slapped my father with a palm and flew away. I was about to catch up when I was suddenly stopped by my father, who spat out blood and passed out in a coma. In a panic, I shouted loudly, and the Wudong disciples who rushed over at the sound brought us here. After listening, Xiao Chen immediately bent down to check the patient's pulse and found that the patient's meridians had been completely broken and he was on the verge of death, which was caused by internal shock injuries. Subsequently, Xiao Chen waved his right hand and used true qi to transform the needle, injecting it into important parts of the patient's body. Then, 2 fingers pointed directly at the patient's heart and used true qi to help the patient open up the meridians. After rescuing, Xiao Chen said, It's okay now. Your father is fine. I have helped him reconnect his meridians and rest for a while before he can go down the mountain. In no time, the patient woke up and the woman explained to him the process of the incident. The woman's father quickly bowed to Xiao Chen and said, Thank you, little master, for your life-saving kindness. After listening, Xiao Chen said, You don't need to be polite, it's just a matter of lifting a finger. Xiao Qin didn't know that the father and daughter he saved were actually the masters of the Justice Hall, a deep-sea underground martial arts organization. Chapter 2. Master of the Sage Temple. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At night, in the majestic Wudong Sage Hall, Li Junren was dressed in a white Taoist robe, with white hair all over his head and a long beard on his face. He stood facing a chair in front of the Dao character in the main hall, with his hands back. Seems to be waiting for someone to announce something important. In no time, Xiao Qin quickly entered the hall and bowed to his master Li Junren, saying, "Apprentice, pay respects to your master." After hearing this, Li Junren suddenly turned around and said, "Apprentice, it's time for you to go down the mountain." Upon hearing his master's words, the playful expression on Xiao Qian's face disappeared without a trace. He looked at his master with a puzzled expression on his face. He didn't understand why his master suddenly drove him down the mountain. Just as he was about to ask his master, Li Junren continued, "In terms of martial arts, you have already passed down the true teachings of your master. Among all the disciples, your talent is the highest. Now that you are a master, I will pass on the position of the head of the Sage Hall to you." As Li Junren spoke, he took out a token from his sleeve and said, "This is the saint's order. I will teach it to you as my teacher. After receiving this token, you will become the master of the Wudong Saints Hall. Every Wudong disciple who sees this token must kneel and bow down. You should know that Wudong is the largest sect in the world today, with global influence, and its martial arts and medical teachings are renowned worldwide." Upon seeing this, Xiao Qian and the others immediately knelt down to pay their respects. However, Xiao Qian was puzzled as his master was still alive. Why did he suddenly pass the throne to him? Before Xiao Qian could ask a question, Li Junren continued, "After you go down the mountain, I will be in seclusion as my master. Your martial brothers will take care of other affairs, so you don't have to worry. Take the order." After speaking, Li Junren handed the order of the sage to Xiao Qian. Xiao Qian had no choice but to kneel and accept the order. Li Junren. "Xiao Qian, get up." Xiao Qian. "Yes, master." Li Junren. "I haven't seen the new temple master yet." Upon seeing this, the disciples immediately knelt and bowed to Xiao Qianqing, saying, "Greet the new temple master." Xiao Qian said with an unaccustomed expression, "Senior brothers, please rise up." Li Junren. "Go back and tidy up, prepare to go down the mountain." Xiao Qian walked quickly out of the main hall and towards the direction of the room. Who would have thought that while passing by a small courtyard, he was suddenly attacked from behind by a masked expert, who wanted to slap Xiao Qian to death. In a faint moment, Xiao Qian seemed to hear someone shouting to him, "Be careful." Out of a subconscious reaction, Xiao Qian immediately used his true energy to protect his body and forced the attacker to retreat. The visitor was surprised and said, "True Qi protects the body." Xiao Qian saw this and said proudly, "I can't believe it. How dare you sneak attack me? Who the hell are you? How dare you break into Wudong at night? Do you know where Wudong is?" The man in black said, "I can't believe you're young and have true Qi to protect your body." Xiao Qian. "There are still many things you don't know." After speaking, the man in black used his ultimate move and attacked Xiao Qian. Upon seeing this, Xiao Qian used his hand as a sword and stabbed directly at the man in black. With one move, he shot the man in black one zhang away and spat out blood from his mouth. Xiao Qian was a bit surprised when he saw this and said, "I didn't expect you to be able to resist my move. Not bad, you're more powerful than those experts during the day." The man in black saw that he was defeated by Xiao Qian and used the escape technique to instantly escape from Wudong. At this moment, Xiao Qian suddenly recalled that there seemed to be a woman reminding him to be careful just now. But when he looked around, he didn't notice anything. Helpless, Xiao Qian had no choice but to return to his room and pack his luggage. In the lobby of the underground Dragon Protection Hall in Kyoto, a middle-aged woman dressed in palace-maid attire, around 40 years old, sat on a throne in the hall and said to the 12 men and women kneeling below, "We have now discovered the trace of the young master. It has been 10 years since the old slave used the wealth left by the Empress to establish today's Dragon Protection Hall, in order to help the young master regain the throne as soon as possible. Nowadays, the industries controlled by our Dragon Protection Palace have spread throughout the country, with assets already exceeding 1 trillion yuan. Although it cannot be said to be wealthy enough to rival the country, it can also help the young master. This way, the old slave can feel at ease and die without regrets, worthy of the dying trust of the Queen Wang." After listening, everyone spoke in unison, "Master, rest assured. I will do my best to assist the young master in regaining the throne." The old palace maid continued, "Yi Qian, as instructed, it is very likely that the young master will go to the deep sea soon. You should immediately set off for the deep sea and arrange everything to wait for the young master to leave the mountain." Yi Qian, who was kneeling below, replied, "It's the palace master. I'll go to the deep sea immediately." The old palace maid continued, "Zhang Li from the Deep Sea Hidden Dragon Group is a subordinate of the Dragon Protection Hall, and the Hidden Dragon Group is also an industry of the Dragon Protection Hall. After you arrive at the deep sea, just contact her directly, and I will notify her to assist you in protecting the young master." Yi Qian. "Master Xie, I understand." In the lobby of the underground dragon slaying pavilion in Kyoto, a woman wearing a maid's guard uniform was reporting to the female leader wearing a female official uniform sitting in the lobby, "I would like to inform the leader that our expert sent to Wudong has reported that the mission has failed and he is also seriously injured." After hearing this, the female leader said, "Send the order and don't act rashly for now. Wudong is the largest sect in the world, and with Li Jinren in charge, we can't escalate the conflict. He will come down the mountain sooner or later, and then we will slowly look for opportunities to take action." At this time, the Wu family in the deep sea was undergoing a family upheaval. The head of the Wu family, Wu Qingyang, suddenly fell ill. Wu Qingyang's wife, eldest daughter, and son were forcing his youngest daughter, Wu Shaoqing, to date Wu Shao, the son of the Wu family in the deep sea, in order to climb the dragon and support the phoenix, and enhance the Wu family's position in the deep sea. But this Wu Shao is not a good man. With the influence of his family, he bullies the good in the deep sea, wandering among the Red Square, changing brides night and night, and gaining a notorious reputation. Wu Shaoqing does not like such a playboy, so no matter how much her family forces her, she is unwilling to have any dealings with this Wu Shao. However, her status at home is not high and she is often bullied by her sister and brother. Over the years, fortunately, with the care of my father Wu Qingyang, I was not forced into marriage, but now, Wu Qingyang suddenly fell ill, bedridden, and unable to protect Wu Shaoqing anymore. As soon as Wu Qingyang fell ill, Wu Shaoqing's mother and siblings forced her to date Wu Shao. In the living room of the Wu family, Wu Shaoqing sat on the sofa next to her. Her mother Chen Fengli, sister Wu Wanqing, and brother Wu Zhizong sat on the long sofa in the middle, looking at her. Chen Fengli said, "Shaoqing, forget about your doll kiss. It was your father who was foolish and decided to propose a doll kiss to the country bumpkin. If he had you in his heart, he should have come to propose a marriage long ago. You see, Wu Shao Duo is very nice. He is young and handsome, and the key is his strong family background. The Wu family is the leader of the 4 major families in the deep sea. If our Wu family can climb up to the Wu family, we will soar to fame, and our Wu family's status will greatly improve. We don't have to look at others' faces." Wu Wanqing said, "Mom is right, just give up. Marrying Wu Shao is good for everyone, and this can also be considered your contribution to the family." Wu Shaoqing listened impatiently and said, "If you want to get married, let your sister get married. I don't like that playboy Wu Shao." Wu Wanqing said, "I wanted to get married, but it's you who Wu Shao likes, not me." After listening, Wu Zhizong, the older brother of Wu Shaoqing, also said, "If you don't like Wu Shao, you can marry Guo Shao. The Guo family is also one of the 4 major families in the deep sea, and Guo Shao also has a special fondness for you." Wu Shaoqing couldn't bear to listen anymore and stood up, saying, "I'm going to see my dad." I want to marry you guys, but I won't marry you anyway. After speaking, turn around and walk towards the second floor. Chapter 3. Mystery of Birth. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Late at night, Li Junren arrived at Xiao Chen's room. At this moment, Xiao Chen was packing up in the room when he saw his master come in and quickly stood up to salute. Li Junren waved his hand, indicating that there was no need to be too polite, and then said, "Apprentice, I have something important to explain to you." Xiao Chen. Master, what else do you need to tell my disciple? Li Junren suddenly took out a secret book from his sleeve and handed it to Xiao Chen, saying, "This is the highest secret book of our sect, the Heavenly Pulse Technique. You need to reach a certain level of cultivation before you can practice. Now that your cultivation has surpassed the peak of martial arts, there are few opponents in the world today. However, it is not invincible in the world. Master also has a junior brother named Qiu Chuzi, who is your martial uncle, and his martial arts skills are on par with those of a master. When we were practicing the Heavenly Pulse Technique together, he became obsessed with the 5th level due to his eagerness for success. Then, he left the school and disappeared without a trace." Speaking of this, Li Junren couldn't help but imagine the scene of him and his junior brother practicing the divine skill Tianmai Ju together in the Demo cave. Back then, inside the Dharma cave, he and his junior disciple Qiu Chuzi were reciting a mnemonic. Heavenly Meridian Divine Skill, the study of immortals. The higher the cultivation level, the faster the path to immortality. Meditation with calmness, sinking qi into the elixir field, turning true qi, wandering in the 6 harmonies, and being able to connect with immortals. Li Junren continued, "Your martial uncle is narrow-minded, ambitious, and has ruthless methods. He doesn't even pay attention to his own cultivation and just wants to become the number 1 in the world as soon as possible. Apart from your master, he never looks down on others. Now that your master has passed away, if he were still alive now, he would be your biggest enemy. Nowadays, as a teacher, one only cultivates to the 6th level of the Heavenly Meridian Divine Skill. To become an immortal, one must break through the 9th level of the Heavenly Meridian Divine Skill. You are naturally intelligent and have a high level of understanding. As a teacher, I will teach you the secret script, Heavenly Pulse Technique. After going down the mountain, you need to practice diligently and pay attention to your own cultivation. It is up to you to reach any level." After listening, Xiao Chen said with a heavy heart, "I understand." Li Junren continued, "And this dragon and phoenix jade pendant, which I discovered on you back then, may be related to your background. Take it down the mountain." Xiao Chen took the jade pendant with both hands and said, "Yes, master." Li Junren continued, "As the saying goes, the cultivation of Buddhism and Taoism is in the heart. Wherever one cultivates, it is the same. In today's world, the righteous path has fallen and evil paths are rampant. You must uphold the righteous path, eradicate evil, and restore stability to the world. This is your mission and responsibility, and also, your mortal world is yet to end." I once saved a person named Wu Qingyang. 10 years ago, I was traveling in Kyoto. One night, I heard the sound of fighting near the palace and went to investigate. When I arrived there, I saw dead people everywhere. At that time, you were unconscious and protected by a palace maid's body, which prevented you from being killed at this point. Li Junren's mind couldn't help but reflect the scene of saving people at that time. Li Junren continued, "At that time, your body was very weak, so I took you to Wu Qingyang's residence for recuperation. His youngest daughter, Wu Shaoqing, has been by your side, taking care of your daily life without leaving until you recover and regain your strength. It can be said that that girl was kind to you." Later, out of gratitude, Wu Qingyang betrothed his youngest daughter Wu Shaoqing to you and arranged a child marriage with my teacher. This is the half of the jade pendant he gave me back then, which serves as a token of the two families' bond. Speaking, Li Junren took out the half of the jade pendant from his pocket and said, "After going down the mountain, you can go and marry her, protect your benefactor, and grow old together with her." After hearing this, Xiao Chen was surprised and said, "Ah. It turns out that the master has already been a disciple, taking care of marriage matters. Seeing Xiao Chen's reluctant expression on his face, Li Jinren said, if you show gratitude, you should repay it. Don't be ungrateful, young man. Xiao Chen said helplessly, all right. I'll just follow your orders. Li Jinren continued, apprentice, have you noticed that there are often people with unknown origins around Wudang recently, probably related to your background? Xiao Chen said somewhat panicked, my background. Li Jinren nodded and said, yes, as for the mystery of your background, your senior sister Li Qingxia will tell you in detail in the future. Before the time comes, as a teacher, I won't say much. The road ahead is difficult, and my master can't always accompany you. You can only bravely face it on your own. Xiao Chen said with a suspicious expression, Master, rest assured that I will fulfill my mission. Li Jinren. This is the flight ticket I booked for you. Your fiancé A.E. is currently in the deep sea. In the underground Dragon Protection Palace in Kyoto, a woman wearing sexy black clothes is reporting to the old palace maid, Master, the young master has gone out of the mountain, the destination is the deep sea. After listening, the old palace maid said, the wind and rain are about to rise in the world. Pay close attention to the dynamics of the deep sea. The woman in black said, yes, Lord. In the lobby of the underground dragon killing society in Kyoto, a mysterious person wearing a black robe and half covering his face is reporting to the leader sitting on the main chair with a half-face mask. Report to the leader, he is going out of the mountain, his destination is deep sea. Black-robed man, notify the deep sea side, be prepared, and find a way to stop him from getting things done. Black-robed man. I will arrange it now. In the lobby of the underground dragon slaying pavilion in Kyoto, a woman dressed in a maid's guard uniform was reporting to the female leader sitting in the lobby, dressed in official attire. Report to the leader, that person is going out of the mountain, the destination is the deep sea. Female leader. Send someone to the deep sea, secretly stop him from developing, and wait for an opportunity to eliminate him. The female guard said, I'll arrange it now. In the bedroom of Xiao Chen in Wudang, he was lying on the bed, looking at the 2 jade pendants given to him by his master Li Jinren, or more accurately, 1.5 jade pendants. One of the dragon and phoenix jade pendants is about his background, and he is curious about who he really is. Why do so many people want to kill him, and the ones sent are all experts? Today, 2 groups of black-clothed people appeared in just one day. Although the experts in the pine forest are vulnerable to a single blow, they are numerous in number. If it weren't for their high martial arts skills, they would probably have encountered unexpected situations. The group at night, although there was only one person, their martial arts skills were quite impressive and they were not instantly killed by him. Xiao Chen held the dragon, phoenix, and jade pendant in his right hand and kept watching, feeling that his background must be extraordinary. Otherwise there wouldn't be so many people thinking about him. He only remembers that his master saved him, followed by a little girl taking care of him, and then he was taken back to Wudang by his master for 10 years. Later, Xiao Chen looked at the half-jade pendant in his left hand, which was the token of his love with the little girl who took care of him. It was also something he was about to do, and his master's destiny was not to be violated. Thinking about it, Xiao Chen suddenly remembered his 5 beautiful senior sisters. Since they went down the mountain, he has never seen them again. Now, he is also going down the mountain. After going down the mountain, he could see 5 beautiful senior sisters again, and thinking about it made him excited. In the dream, 5 beautiful senior sisters were constantly circling around Xiao Chen. Deep Sea is the financial center of the Heavenly Kingdom, controlling the financial power of the world. It houses offices of major wealthy families and conglomerates around the world, as well as financial trading institutions such as stock exchanges. The court also has a Governor-General of Zhili for management. Chapter 4. Young Master Descending the Mountain. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Outside the Deep Sea Airport, as soon as Xiao Chen walked out of the airport, a group of people met him, led by a young and sexy woman in black. The group of people walked up to Xiao Chen and immediately knelt down on one knee, saying, Young Master, I have been waiting for you for a long time." Seeing this, Xiao Chen looked around with a bewildered expression and said, "Did you recognize the wrong person?" "I don't know you guys." The leading woman said, "I learned that the young master is going down the mountain and is coming to the deep sea by plane, so I immediately came to wait. How could I admit my mistake? I am waiting for you. You just follow us, and you will understand in the future. I have prepared a villa for you at Yinlong Villa, the most luxurious, expensive, and top-notch villa residential area in the deep sea, for your rest and office use." Xiao Chen didn't hesitate much when he heard that there was a place to live. You should know that his master Li Jinren only gave him a jade pendant and token, without giving him any money, and his clothes were only 2 sets of Wudang martial arts practice robes. Wearing it on the mountain is okay, but wearing it in the city makes him stand out. No wonder he was recognized as soon as he left the airport. Fortunately, he wasn't a killer, otherwise he would have fought again. Xiao Chen. Okay. Anyway, I don't have a place to live either. Leading woman. Thank you for your trust, young master. I will take you to the villa to rest now. After speaking, the leading woman led Xiao Chen to a group of luxury cars and sat in the luxurious sedan in the middle. Subsequently, the luxury convoy quickly headed towards Yinlong Villa. In the lobby of the deep-sea underground Dragon Killer Club, 6 mysterious men and women wearing black robes and half covering their faces are reporting to the leader sitting on the main chair, wearing a half-face mask and black clothes, saying, "Return to the leader, the target has descended the mountain and is now in the deep sea. Do you want to continue taking action?" After listening, the leader said, "No need, it's okay on the mountain. Now that he's down the mountain, we can't take such a rude approach. Let's see his actions first." The man in black replied, "Yes, Lord." At this time, Xiao Chen had followed the woman to the villa of Yinlong Villa. The villa looks grand, with exquisite design and elegant environment, making it a top-notch presence. After opening the door and entering, the interior is magnificent and perfectly decorated. The first floor is a lobby with stairs leading to the second floor, and the space is also very large. After entering the room and throwing his luggage aside, Xiao Chen said to the leading woman, "What's your name?" The leading woman said, "My name is Yi Qian, and I am your personal guard in the deep sea. If you have any questions, young master, please feel free to command me." Xiao Chen. "I would like to ask you to help me find someone." Yi Qian. "Does the young master know her name?" Xiao Chen. "Her name is Wu Xiaoqing, she is my fiancée A.E. Yi Qian. "I will investigate immediately, but if the young master wants to see him, he may have to change into a new outfit, otherwise he will be kicked out." Xiao Chen. "I just brought 2 sets of clothes down the mountain, both of which are Taoist robes." Yi Qian. "Then I need to take the young master to buy some clothes." After hearing this, Xiao Chen awkwardly said, "I don't have any money." Yi Qian. "Don't worry, young master. Let me introduce you. This is Zhongli, the president of Yinlong Group." In the deep sea, Zhongli can also be said to be an outstanding and stunning beauty CEO. Judging by her noble temperament, dignified demeanor, and extremely feminine charm, she dresses sexy while still maintaining the demeanor of a strong woman. In the eyes of outsiders, she is an unattainable existence. For the Hidden Dragon Group alone, Zhongli controls assets worth hundreds of billions. It can be said that in the deep-sea financial industry, she is a person who can shake the ground with a stomp of her foot, but who would have thought that she was just an agent of a certain organization. After listening to Yi Qian's introduction, Xiao Chen politely said, "Hello, Mr. Zhang." Seeing Xiao Chen being so polite, Zhongli was frightened and quickly said, "Young master, you're so polite. I dare not." After speaking, he immediately took out a black bank card with a golden dragon printed on it from his pocket, handed it to Xiao Chen with both hands, and said, "Young master, this is a specially prepared golden dragon card for you. Any expenses you make in the deep sea will be borne by the Hidden Dragon Group, and this card can be overdrawn infinitely. At this moment, Yi Qian suddenly received a phone call. After answering it, she suddenly said to Xiao Chen, "Young master, we have found your fiancé A.E. The Wu family is currently in a family upheaval." After listening, Xiao Chen said, "Take me over now." Yi Qian. "Okay, I will take the young master immediately." The Wu family in the deep sea, Wu Xiao from the Wu family, brought people to the Wu family and demanded that the Wu family betroth Wu Xiaoqing to him. Otherwise, they would force the Wu family to immediately repay the business debt owed by the Wu family of 100 million yuan and cut off the cooperation between Wu and the Wu family. As soon as these words were spoken, the people of the Wu family were frightened and anxious. They were afraid of angering the Wu family, so they forced Wu Xiaoqing to agree to Wu Xiao's request and marry him. However, Wu Xiaoqing refused to agree. Wu Xiaoqing's mother, Chen Fengli, said fiercely, "If you don't agree to marry Wu Xiao, you won't be allowed to go anywhere from today on, just stay at home until you agree." Later, Wu Wanqing said, "Wu Xiaoqing, what do you want to do? Dad is still in bed now, do you want the Wu family to go bankrupt?" After listening, Wu Xiaoqing looked at Wu Xiao and said, "Wu Feng, don't go too far. Even if I die, I won't marry you." After listening, Wu Xiao proudly said, "How could I go too far? It's only natural for me to repay debts, and it's up to me, the Wu family, to decide who to cooperate with." Wu Wanqing continued, "Wu Xiaoqing, are you still thinking about your country bumpkin fiancé A? Even if he comes, what's going on? He's not just a country bumpkin. What can he do for a living and help? It's better to marry Wu Xiao." Wu Xiao proudly said, "Your sister is right. Don't worry about your child anymore. What's so important about a country bumpkin? He may not even be able to support himself, so why bother with you?" Just then, a voice suddenly came from outside the door. "Is that bastard speaking ill of me?" Everyone looked towards the door and walked in a man dressed in a white Wudang Taoist robe, with a fairy-like demeanor. After Xiao Chen entered the Wu family, Wu Xiao immediately joked, "Who are you? How come I haven't seen you at the Wu family?" After listening, Xiao Chen said, "My name is Xiao Chen." As soon as everyone heard Xiao Chen, they immediately spoke in unison, "Are you that country bumpkin?" After hearing this, Xiao Chen angrily said, "What kind of country bumpkin? My name is Xiao Chen." Wu Xiao continued, "Judging from your attire, what are you, not a country bumpkin? Did you just come out of the mountains?" Xiao Chen said impatiently, "You're right. I just came out of the mountains to find my fiancé A.E." Immediately after, Xiao Chen took out the half of the jade pendant from his pocket and showed it to the Wu family. After seeing the half of the jade pendant that Xiao Chen took out, Wu Xiaoqing carefully examined it. The man in front of him began to conjure up images of her taking care of the weak little boy 10 years ago. They were really similar. Chapter 5. The Proposal Storm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the deep sea, Wu Xiaoqing is widely recognized as the #1 beauty. It is unknown how many men secretly love her, and many wealthy young masters want her. Wu Xiao from the Wu family and Guo Xiao from the Guo family in the deep sea are representatives of them. In order to obtain Wu Xiaoqing's relentless and even overwhelming power, he wanted to forcibly marry and seize Wu Xiaoqing as his own. After seeing the half-jade pendant that Xiao Chen took out, the Wu family was very surprised. They understood that the earth leopard wearing a white Wudang Taoist robe in front of them was really Xiao Chen, the doll's biological partner designated by the Wu family for Wu Xiaoqing 10 years ago. However, facing the temptation of money and power, they cannot admit to this marriage, let alone offend the Wu family and make them bankrupt. Looking at Xiao Chen's poor appearance, Wu Xiaoqing's mother Chen Fengli said, "Even if this half of the jade pendant is true, this marriage is not a matter of fact. It was our father who was confused and decided to marry this child. Now the old man is seriously ill. I'm the master of the Wu family. You'd better take this half of the jade pendant back with you." After hearing this, Wu Wanqing looked disdainful and said, even if a toad wants to eat swan meat and doesn't pee to take care of herself, see what kind of virtue she has. With such a poor appearance, she still wants to marry our family's Xiaoqing. She's really not afraid of being laughed at. It's rumored that she will lose face with our Wu family. My sister Wu Xiaoqing is at least the #1 beauty in the deep sea. Do you deserve it? After hearing this, Wu Xiao proudly said, "What kind of country bumpkin? Have you heard me? I advise you to take this half of the jade pendant and get out of here. Don't embarrass yourself. You and Wu Xiaoqing are not from the same world. Just like you poor loser, I'm afraid you can't even support yourself. Wanting to marry a wealthy woman is just a daydream." Wu Zhizong, the older brother of Wu Xiaoqing, added to his jealousy, that is, although our Wu family is not among the 4 major families in the deep sea, we are also a wealthy family in the deep sea. My sister Wu Xiaoqing is the most beautiful woman in the deep sea, and there are many people who want to marry her. It's not your turn as a country bumpkin to worry about. I advise you to be sensible and take this broken jade pendant and leave our Wu family. Don't make trouble for yourself, provoke me, and make you lose your way. Wu Xiaoqing looked at the handsome man in front of him, who was dressed a bit tacky, and suddenly developed a liking for him. He could be used as a shield, so, he said, I, Wu Xiaoqing, would rather marry Xiao Chen than marry Wu Xiao. Upon hearing these words, Chen Fengli immediately became furious and said, "There's no place for you to speak. Hurry up and take care of your father. Don't cause trouble here. Your children's marriages are up to your parents." After hearing this, Wu Xiaoqing reluctantly turned around and went upstairs to take care of his sick father. Chen Fengli continued, "Rural bumpkin, don't leave yet. Our Wu family doesn't welcome you." Wu Wanqing impatiently said, "Well, before you come, you don't even inquire. My sister Wu Xiaoqing is the most beautiful woman in the deep sea. Our Wu family is also the largest group in the real estate and construction industry in the deep sea. Although we can't compare to the 4 major families, we are also billionaires in the deep sea, and can also be said to be a prominent wealthy family in the deep sea. Have you never heard the saying that once you enter the Marquis Gate, you feel as deep as the sea? I don't know where you got the courage to propose in this outfit." After listening, Wu Xiao said proudly, "Did you hear that? The Wu family doesn't welcome you. I advise you to leave quickly. Don't embarrass yourself here. I'll tell you, I'm married to Wu Xiaoqing." Xiao Chen looked at everyone's faces and felt an indescribable helplessness in his heart. He was blaming his master for arranging this marriage for him. The Wu family were all so snobbish. If it weren't for Wu Xiaoqing's kindness to himself and his master, he would have left long ago and would not have been insulted here. After listening, Xiao Chen looked at half of the jade pendant in his hand and said, "Is this how your Wu family treats their benefactor? If it weren't for my master saving Wu Qingyang back then, would there be your current Wu family? Besides, this marriage was arranged by your old man to repay my master's life-saving kindness. How can we say it was arranged by the old man in a moment of confusion? Now that your attitude has spread, I'm afraid others will say that your Wu family is ungrateful and lacks credibility." After hearing this, the Wu family's face immediately became embarrassed. They couldn't believe that the country bumpkin in front of them was so articulate and difficult to deal with. After pondering for a moment, Wu Wanqing took out a silver card from her bag and handed it to Xiao Chen, saying, "There is 3 million yuan inside. Let's just give it to you as compensation. You keep the jade pendant and leave our Wu family. From then on, you will never mention your relationship with our Wu family. Let's call it a day. How about ending your engagement with my sister Wu Xiaoqing?" After listening, Xiao Chen thought to himself that if he hadn't met Yi Qian and the others and didn't have the golden dragon card in his hand, he might have accepted this 3 million yuan, but now he is not short of money. Moreover, recalling the scene of his fiancée A.E. being bullied just now, Xiao Chen decided that his engagement should not be abandoned. He must remember his master's instructions and marry Wu Xiaoqing to protect her integrity. After pondering for a moment, Xiao Chen said calmly, I don't want the money, but I can't give you the jade pendant either. This is a token of my love with Wu Shaoqing, and it has nothing to do with you. After listening to Xiao Chen's words, Wu Zhizong became angry and said, I'm talking about being a country bumpkin. Don't toast, don't eat, and be punished. If it weren't for your master's kindness to our old man, he would have kicked you out of our house for so long. Wu Xiao impatiently said, Rural bumpkin, I advise you to keep the jade pendant and then take the money and get out of here. This is the wisest choice. Don't suffer for face or death. 3 million yuan is enough for someone like you to spend a lifetime. Even if you don't eat or drink for a lifetime, you probably won't make so much money. After listening, Xiaoqin said calmly, I won't trouble you anymore. Anyway, I won't terminate the engagement. After listening to this, Wu Xiao angrily said, Rural bumpkin, I have good words to advise you, but you don't know what to do. You Wu family should think carefully. Your Wu family still owes us 1 billion yuan in project funds, and if you offend our Wu family, we will immediately cancel all cooperation relationships between our Wu family and your Wu family. Moreover, in the deep sea, no company dares to cooperate with you. After hearing these words, the Wu family's face changed greatly and promised to betroth Wu Shaoqing to him. Seeing the frightened look on the face of the Wu family, Xiaoqin looked at Wu Xiao and said, Isn't it just a billion? Is it worth making such a fuss about? Even if your Wu family doesn't cooperate with them, there will still be other companies cooperating with them in the deep sea. Upon hearing Xiaoqian's words, Chen Fengli's face changed greatly and she quickly said, This is our Wu family's business. What's your concern? Please calm down, Wu Xiao, and don't have the same opinion as this rural bumpkin. After listening, Xiaoqin said, It's none of my business. Wu Shaoqing is my fiancée AE, isn't she just 1 billion? I'll help you pay it back, and even if the Wu family doesn't cooperate with you, there will still be a big group cooperating with you. Don't worry. Looking at Xiaoqian's impoverished appearance, Wu Wanqing quickly said, Rural bumpkin, don't brag here, okay? This will harm our Wu family, Wu Xiao, don't take it seriously. This rural bumpkin is just talking nonsense. Seeing Xiaoqian persistently fighting, Wu Xiao became angry and said, Rural bumpkin, I see you're looking for death. Do you know what 100 million is? That's money you can't earn in 10 lifetimes. Kneel down and apologize to me now, and I can still let you go, otherwise, you won't want to leave the Wu family. After listening, Xiaoqian said disdainfully, Let me kneel down and apologize to you. You don't deserve it. Xiaoqian's attitude made Wu Xiao very angry. He wanted to rush forward and beat Xiaoqian. Seeing this, Xiaoqian used his right hand to press down, and Wu Xiao immediately knelt to the ground. Wu Xiao angrily said, You country bumpkin, how dare you kneel down? Your Wu family is finished. The Wu family was greatly alarmed when they saw the situation. Unexpectedly, this country bumpkin knows martial arts. What's even more surprising is that he dared to offend Wu Xiao. After a moment of panic, Chen Fengli quickly said to Xiaoqian, You country bumpkin, leave our Wu family immediately. Do you want to kill us? Xiaoqian saw that the Wu family was so afraid of offending them, so he did not continue to entangle with Wu Xiao. He had to temporarily let Wu Xiao go and turned around to leave the Wu family. Chapter 6. Golden Dragon Card in the Present World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Xiaoqian walked out of the Wu family, Yi Qian and others immediately approached and knelt down on one knee to pay their respects, saying, Young master, are you okay? I just heard that there was a lot of noise in the room, and I dare not bring anyone in rashly, afraid of affecting the relationship between young master and the Wu family. Xiaoqian waved his hand and signaled for Yi Qian and the others to stand up, then said helplessly, It's okay, they can't hurt me yet, it's just that I regret not listening to you and changing into new clothes before going. Wearing these clothes, they all treated me like a country bumpkin and even insulted and humiliated me. Upon hearing these words, Yi Qian immediately became furious and said, What? They dare to insult the young master. I immediately brought someone in and destroyed them. As Yi Qian spoke, she wanted to bring someone in and destroy the Wu family and the despicable Wu Xiao. Fortunately, she was stopped by Xiao Chen and said, "You girl, why are you so impulsive and always shout and fight? Who dares to marry you in the future?" Yi Qian jokingly said, "Then I won't marry. Anyway, they can't bully the young master." After listening, Xiao Chen comforted himself and said, "I don't have the same understanding as them. Long hair, short knowledge." Yi Qian also took the opportunity to comfort Xiao Chen and said, "Young master, you're right. There's no need to have the same understanding as them. They have eyes but no eyes, and they don't know real dragons." Xiao Chen. Let's go back first. Yi Qian. Yes, young master. After speaking, Yi Qian waited on Xiao Chen to get on the car, and then drove back to the villa in Yending Villa. At this moment, Zhongli was already waiting for Xiao Chen's return at the villa. When she saw Xiao Chen and Yi Qian returning, she quickly asked, "Young master, how are things going? Did the proposal go smoothly?" Upon hearing these words, Yi Qian was filled with anger, but she also found it amusing. "You propose marriage. They treat the young master as a country bumpkin and even ridicule him." After listening to Yi Qian's words, Zhongli looked at Xiao Chen again, and even she wanted to laugh. Xiao Chen in front of her, if it weren't for his handsome appearance, really looked a bit like a country bumpkin. Xiao Chen also said helplessly, "People really rely on their clothes, horses rely on their saddles. There are so many rules at the foot of the mountain, and people are also snobbish." Zhongli continued, "Young master, what did the Wu family say? Do they not acknowledge this marriage?" Xiao Chen said helplessly, "Don't mention it. There is a Wu family member who is causing trouble. The Wu family dare not offend him and even ridiculed me, saying that I am a country bumpkin. I am not compatible with Wu Xiaoqing." After listening, Zhongli glanced at Xiao Chen's outfit again and said, "Young master, don't blame me for being rude. Your attire really looks like you're from the mountain." Upon hearing this, Xiao Chen said with a bewildered expression, "I was originally from the mountain." Upon hearing this, Yi Qian jokingly said, "Young lord, I will accompany you to buy clothes tomorrow, and I promise to make young lord handsome." After speaking, everyone went to rest. The next morning, Yi Qian drove with Xiao Chen to the busiest commercial square in the deep sea and arrived at a high-end clothing store. Who would have thought that when we arrived at the clothing store, we met Wu Xiaoqing's sisters, who would also like to come here to see clothes. Seeing a sexy beauty next to Xiao Chen, Wu Wanqing looked at her sister Wu Xiaoqing and joked, "Xiaoqing, don't you think this is your country bumpkin fiancé, eh? He only came to propose marriage yesterday and promised to marry you. Today, he ran out to eat soft rice. He is really a good man." This made Wu Xiaoqing look embarrassed. Wu Xiaoqing walked up to Xiao Chen and questioned, "You're good, Xiao Chen. Are you trying to embarrass me? You still want to anger me? I found my next home so quickly, okay, Xiao Chen." "You speak to me, Xiao Chen," with an awkward expression on his face, not knowing how to defend himself. Upon seeing this, Yi Qian quickly explained to Wu Xiaoqing, "Miss Wu, you may have misunderstood. I am just the young master's guard, not his woman." Wu Wanqing continued to joke, "Guard, of course you have to deny being bumped into by us." After listening, Xiao Chen quickly explained to Wu Xiaoqing, "Xiaoqing, don't misunderstand. I only have you in my heart. She is really my guard." As soon as Xiao Chen finished speaking, Wu Wanqing pulled Wu Xiaoqing into the clothing store and ignored Xiao Chen and the others. Upon seeing this, Xiao Chen also followed into the clothing store. Wu Xiao, who was secretly following Wu Xiaoqing's sisters outside, made a phone call when he saw Xiao Chen also entering the clothing store. He didn't know what he was doing. Wu Wanqing saw that Xiao Chen and the other two followed into the clothing store and said impatiently, "I said you're a country bumpkin, why are you still bothering our little Qing?" After listening, Xiao Chen said helplessly, "Who's bothering you? I'm here to buy clothes." Wu Wanqing looked surprised and said, "Buy clothes, country bumpkin. Do you know where this is? This is the most expensive clothing store in the deep sea. Its customers are either rich or expensive. You don't take a shower to take care of yourself. Get out of here and don't make a fool of yourself here, let alone know our little Qing." After listening, Wu Shaoqing said to his sister Wu Wanqing, "Sister, don't mock him anymore." At this moment, a person walked out from behind the counter, like a store manager or something. As soon as he came out and saw Xiao Chen's poverty, he joked, "We are the best clothing store in the deep sea, serving wealthy customers. Not every cat and dog can come in." After hearing this, Yi Qian impatiently said, "How could you do business like this and drive away customers?" The store manager continued, "I'm a young lady. If you want to take care of me, you also need to find a better man. Don't be blind and treat the country bumpkins like treasures." Yi Qian said angrily, "I see that you are the ones who have eyes but no pearls. Surprisingly, you have eyes that do not recognize real dragons and judge people by their appearance." After listening, Xiao Chen said to Yi Qian, "Forget it, let's not have the same opinion as these people. Let's first look at the clothes." Yi Qian. "Yes, young master." The store manager said coldly, "Then take your time and see for yourself." After speaking, she gestured for a female clerk in the store to follow Xiao Chen and the others. She then walked up to Wu Wanqing and respectfully said, "Miss Wu, may I ask if there is anything I can do for you?" Wu Wanqing. "We're just taking a casual look." The store manager continued, "Don't worry, Miss Wu. Whatever you like, you can take it away." Wu Xiaofan instructed that all your expenses be recorded in his account. After listening, Wu Wanqing looked at Wu Shaoqing and said, "Shaoqing, you see how good Wu Xiaoduo is, careful and considerate." Wu Shaoqing said unhappily, "Who wants him to buy it?" On this side, Yi Qian had already helped Xiao Chen select a few sets of clothes. While continuing to look, Wu Wanqing suddenly said, "I'm talking about a country bumpkin. You're really lucky. As soon as you come, you'll meet the rich woman. Soft rice is delicious." Yi Qian said angrily, "I said, why can't your dog mouth spit out ivory? You speak so harshly, our young master doesn't need to eat soft rice." Xiao Chen ignored them and continued to choose clothes. Finally, Xiao Chen selected a total of 3 sets of top-tier suits, 3 sets of high-end underwear, 4 sets of fashionable casual wear, 3 top-tier ties, 2 pairs of top-tier business leather shoes, 3 pairs of fashionable casual shoes, 10 pairs of top-tier nylon anti-odor socks, and 2 top-tier belts. Seeing Xiao Chen selecting so many things, Wu Wanqing was surprised and joked, "As a country bumpkin, can you afford all these things? Do you have so much money? Aren't you afraid of being dumped by this rich woman?" Xiao Chen glanced at Wu Wanqing and the others, and calmly said, "You don't have to worry about it anymore." The store manager looked at the situation disdainfully and said to the female clerk, "Can you help him calculate how much these things cost in total?" After listening to this, the female clerk took Xiao Chen and the others to the counter to make a balance. In no time, the female clerk calculated Xiao Chen's consumption amount and looked at the store manager in surprise. After seeing the expression on the female clerk's face, the store manager eagerly asked, "How much does it cost in total?" The female shop assistant stuttered a bit and said, 60,000. 6.58 million. As soon as everyone heard this, they were all dumbfounded. The people in the store looked at the counter, and Wu Wanqing looked surprised and said, "What are you joking about, rural bumpkin? I didn't even get you 3 million yesterday. How could you have so much money to buy such high clothes? You wouldn't really rely on this lady to eat soft food, would you?" The store manager said harshly upon seeing the situation, "Do you know the consequences if you can't come up with so much money to make the payment or if no one helps you make the payment? Faced with these people who looked down upon others with a dog's eye, Xiao Chen ignored them and calmly took out a card from his pocket and handed it to the female salesperson, saying, "Please help me swipe the card." Someone in the store said, "Golden Dragon card, he actually holds it." Another person added, "It is said that there is only one Golden Dragon card in Deep Sea, issued by the largest commercial bank in Deep Sea, Jingshan Bank, and accepted by Hidden Dragon Group. This card can also be infinitely overdrawn. This card should be in the hands of Zhongli, the beautiful CEO of Hidden Dragon Group. How could it be in the hands of a rural bumpkin?" After listening, Wu Wanqing said with a skeptical expression, "False, it must be false. How could a country bumpkin possibly have a Golden Dragon card?" The store manager saw the situation and said fiercely, "Do you know the consequences of forging the Golden Dragon card? If the card in your hand is fake, you will be imprisoned." Looking at a group of people who have a dog's eye and look down on others, Xiao Chen looked at the store manager calmly and said, "If you let her brush it, then you'll know if it's true." After listening, the store manager gestured for the female clerk to swipe her card. The female clerk took the Golden Dragon card from Xiao Chen's hand and then took out the store's card swiping machine. With a swipe, the card swiping machine surprisingly displayed that the swiping was successful. Everyone was stunned when they saw this. Wu Wanqing also muttered to herself, "How could this be? How could he possibly hold a Golden Dragon card? Is what he said yesterday true?" Looking at the unfamiliar fiancé in front of him, Wu Xiaoqing was also very curious. Who exactly is he? I always feel a bit mysterious about him. The store manager had nothing to say. Who would have thought that a country bumpkin would actually hold a Golden Dragon card? After making the payment, Yi Qian said to Xiao Chen, "Young master, let's go." Xiao Chen looked at Yi Qian and said, "Let's each take some." Then, Xiao Chen turned to Wu Xiaoqing and said, "I will still go to the Wu family to find you." Chapter 7. Medical Saints Action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Xiao Chen changed into a new casual outfit and arrived at the Wu family. I hope the Wu family can fulfill their engagement and betroth Wu Xiaoqing to him. Who would have thought that as soon as he arrived at the Wu family, the head of the Wu family, Wu Qingyang, suddenly fell into a coma and his life was in danger. Upon seeing the situation, Xiao Chen hurriedly stepped forward to investigate. However, she was stopped by Chen Fengli and angrily said, "Don't touch our old man. Can you take responsibility if there is a major incident?" Xiao Chen said helplessly, "I can save him." After listening, Chen Fengli impatiently said, "You country bumpkin, do you know how to treat diseases?" Xiao Chen glanced at Wu Qingyang, who was already unconscious in bed, and said, "Only I can save him." After hearing this, Chen Fengli angrily said, "Even if you are a country bumpkin, you dare to brag here. Don't think that if you brag a few words, we will marry Xiaoqing to you. You have a dream." To be honest, we have asked Wu Xiao for help and invited Master Shen Qiu, the divine doctor from the deep sea, to come and treat our old man's illness. As soon as Chen Fengli finished speaking, Wu Xiao entered the room with a white-haired old man wearing Tang attire. Subsequently, Wu Xiao introduced, "This is Master Shen Qiu, the deep-sea divine doctor." Upon seeing the situation, Chen Fengli quickly approached and requested the divine doctor, saying, "Shen, please save our old man." Shen Qiu. "Madam, rest assured. I will do my best." After speaking, he immediately reached out to pulse Wu Qingyang lying in bed, then took out a silver needle from his bag and inserted needles into several important acupoints on Wu Qingyang's head and chest. Who would have thought that Wu Qingyang suddenly vomited blood and then fainted again? Upon seeing this, Shen Qiu quickly pulled out the silver needle and muttered to himself, "How could this be?" Seeing this, Xiao Chen couldn't help but say, "You didn't administer the needle correctly, which caused the patient's qi and blood to flow back. I'm afraid he's already out of breath at this moment." After hearing this, Wu Xiao nervously said, "You country bumpkin, you know what the hell. This is Master Shen Qiu, the divine doctor of the deep sea. How could you make a mistake?" After hearing this, Shen Qiu impatiently said, "Kid, don't talk nonsense." The acupuncture technique of this divine doctor was learned in Wudang Medical School. If you don't understand, don't talk nonsense as it can harm people. Xiao Chen looked at Shen Shini and continued, "If you don't believe it, you can reach out and verify it." Shen Shini looked at Wu Qingyang motionless on the bed, half believing and half doubting. He reached out to Wu Qingyang's nostrils and found that he had really lost his breath. Then, in panic, he withdrew his hand and muttered to himself, "How could this be? It's impossible. Even if the needle was given according to the symptoms, how could there be a reflux of qi and blood?" Upon seeing this, Chen Fengli quickly rushed forward and reached out to test whether Wu Qingyang had died. Upon discovering that Wu Qingyang had died, she shook his body while crying. Wu Wanqing and Wu Shaoqing were also deeply saddened by the situation. Looking at Wu Qingyang, who had already lost his breath on the bed, Wu Xiao was also stunned. After Shen Shini was panicked, he looked at Xiao Chen standing aside and said, "Young man, who the hell are you? Since you can see my fault, I believe you must have a way to save Mr. Wu." Upon hearing these words, Wu Shaoqing quickly stood up and approached Xiao Chen, saying, "Please save my father. As long as you can save my father, I will agree to any conditions." Xiao Chen looked at Wu Shaoqing and said, "You can save him. I don't need you to agree to any conditions, but you need to go out first." After speaking, Xiao Chen pointed to Wu Xiao and said, "And you also go out for me and leave Shen Shini as a witness." After listening, Wu Xiao said very unconvinced, "You country bumpkin, why should I go out?" Xiao Chen said calmly, "Don't go out, I won't save anyone. This is because you killed Mr. Wu, it's not my business." Upon hearing Xiao Chen's words, everyone became anxious and hurriedly advised Wu Xiao to go out. Shen Shini also said, "Wu Xiao, why don't you go out first? With an old man around, he doesn't dare to play any tricks." Wu Xiao, who has always been arrogant and doesn't take Xiao Chen seriously, is now silenced by Xiao Chen's treatment. Although he is full of anger, he dare not get angry. If Wu Qingyang really dies like this, he cannot get rid of his relationship, and his relationship with Wu Shaoqing will come to an end. Wu Shaoqing will hate him for a lifetime. Helpless, Wu Xiao could only obediently follow the Wu family and wait outside the room. There were only Xiao Chen, Shen Shini, and Wu Qingyang lying in bed, who had already died. After everyone left, Shen Shini quickly said, "Young man, everyone has gone out. You can take action now." Xiao Chen walked calmly to the bedside and reached out to press on Wu Qingyang's hand pulse, while feeling his pulse and infusing his body with true qi. Shen Shini saw the situation and said impatiently, "Young man, he has already lost his breath. What other pulse do you have?" Xiao Chen said calmly, "Traditional Chinese medicine emphasizes observing, smelling, asking, and cutting. Even if you have already been diagnosed, if you want me to treat you, you still need to personally diagnose the pulse to know the condition, and then prescribe the right medicine and come up with a reasonable treatment plan." Shen Shini said nervously, "But he's already out of breath. What's the use of pulse checking? Can you really save the dead?" After listening, Xiao Chen said, "For you, he may already be a dead person, but for me, it's not that I just checked his pulse and found that he still has a glimmer of life. As long as I give him a needle, I can save him." Shen Shini looked skeptical and said, "Young man, you're not bragging. You know, in the deep sea, no one has ever saved a patient that Shen Shini couldn't save." Xiao Chen said in a betting tone, "What if I can save him?" Shen Shini also said unwillingly, "If you can save him, I will worship you as my teacher." After listening, Xiao Chen did not continue to argue with Shen Shini. Instead, he extended 2 fingers and pointed directly at Wu Qingyang's forehead, infusing him with true qi again. Then, with a big wave of his hand, the 8 silver needles transformed from true qi were inserted into the important acupoints of Wu Qingyang's body, first flying in the air, and then with a downward wave of his hand by Xiao Chen. Upon seeing this, Shen Shini was dumbfounded and exclaimed in surprise, "Wudang's 8-needle sect. After a while, Xiao Chen waved his hand upwards and the silver needle was retracted. After the rescue was completed, Xiao Chen calmly said, "All right, he will wake up in a while." Upon hearing this, the crowd outside rushed into the room. In no time, Wu Qingyang really woke up. The Wu family was thrilled when they saw the situation. Shen Shini was also impressed by Xiao Chen's medical skills and curiously asked, "Is the acupuncture technique you just used the unique 8 needles of Wudang?" After hearing this, Xiao Chen said with a bit of pride, "How could Shen Shini know about the 8 needles of Qimeng?" Shen Shini said with shame, "I am old and foolish. When I was studying medicine at Wudang Medical School, I only learned pharmacology and some top-notch acupuncture techniques. However, I have never been able to grasp the essence of the 8 extraordinary needles. I am truly ashamed. I don't know, what is the relationship between my young brother and Wudang Medical School?" Xiao Chen did not directly answer Shen Shini's question, but took out a token from his pocket and handed it to him to see. After seeing the token, Shen Shini quickly knelt down on one knee and said, "I pay my respects to the temple master." When everyone saw this, they were all shocked and quickly said, "What's wrong with Shen Shini? How did you kneel down for him?" Shen Shini nervously said, "What do you know? This is the order of Wudang sages. Every Wudang disciple who sees this token must kneel down and worship." After listening, Xiao Chen calmly said, "All right, get up." After obtaining Xiao Chen's permission, Shen Shini stood up. Chen Fengli and Wu Wanqing were stunned when they saw this. They didn't expect this rural bumpkin to have such a background. They really underestimated him. At this moment, Wu Shaoqing was also extremely grateful to the fiancé in front of him, and began to develop a liking and admiration for him. Wu Xiao, who was standing beside him, said defiantly, "He's just lucky. If it weren't for Shen Shini's earlier injection, how could he have saved Mr. Wu?" After hearing this, Shen Shini said somewhat displeased, "Wu Xiao must be unreasonable. He is the master of the temple's medical skills, and I am willing to bow down. Do you know that with this token and his medical skills, he is the current medical saint?" After speaking, Shen Shini immediately knelt down on one knee, and the temple master invited his disciples to become disciples. The scene of Shen Shini stunned everyone present. The Shini from the deep sea even apprenticed a young man, which was really surprising. Xiao Chen thinks that Shen Shini is not completely useless. Since he has studied medicine at Wudang Medical School, let's take him as his disciple. After a moment of contemplation, Xiao Chen said to Shen Shini, who was kneeling on the ground, "For the sake of your sincere attitude, I'll take you as my disciple. Get up." After hearing this, Shen Shini said, "Yes, master." Lying in bed, Wu Qingyang looked at Xiao Chen and said, "Benefactor, is your master okay?" After listening, Xiao Chen said, "Master, he is very good. You have just recovered and need more rest and conditioning to recover." After hearing this, Shen Shini said, "Master, don't worry, I'll prescribe a few pairs of conditioning medicine for him." Wu Qingyang continued, 10 years ago, your master saved my life, and now his disciple has saved my life again. We really have a chance. If you don't mind, let's fulfill our original engagement and betroth our family, Xiao Qing, to you." On hearing this, Wu Xiao on the side had an uneasy expression on his face, but it was not easy to interrupt. Standing by the bedside, Chen Fengli and Wu Wanqing also showed unhappy expressions on their faces, but they dared not talk back. After listening, Xiao Chen looked at Wu Shaoqing standing on the side with a shy expression on his face, neither saying yes nor no. At this time, Xiao Chen was not in a hurry to marry Wu Shaoqing. Although they have an engagement, it has been 10 years since they last met. The family environment of the Wu family has also undergone earth-shattering changes, becoming a deep-sea wealthy family. Naturally, they will not marry casually. He does not want to force others to marry a woman who does not like him. After filtering for a moment, Xiao Chenxi said, "You should rest assured and take care of yourself first. This matter is not urgent at the moment." After speaking, Xiao Chen turned around and left the Wu family. Chapter 8. The financial crisis of the Wu family. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After Xiao Chen saved Wu Qingyang, the Wu family developed a favorable impression of Xiao Chen, which caused dissatisfaction among the Wu family. As a result, the Wu family began to use their family's influence to suppress the Wu family, causing many companies to sever their cooperation with the Wu family. Banks also blocked the Wu family's working capital for various reasons. The Wu family group is facing unprecedented difficulties, with a broken capital chain, operational difficulties, and huge debts, making the Wu family unable to breathe. The newly restored head of the Wu family immediately convened an emergency family meeting to discuss solutions. After some discussion, Chen Fengli, Wu Wanqing, and Wu Zhizong all agreed that the root cause of the problem lies with Wu Xiaoqing. Everything was caused by her, and there was also that Xiao Chen. If it weren't for her ignorance and persistence in pestering Wu Xiaoqing, she wouldn't have offended the Wu family, leading to the closure of the Wu family. After listening to everyone's opinions, Wu Qingyang felt a bit ashamed and said, "Xiao Chen and his master, after all, have saved my life. It can also be said that they have been kind to our Wu family. Isn't it a bit ungrateful for us to do this?" After listening, Wu Xiaoqing also said, "Dad is right. Even if I die, I won't marry that Wu Xiao." Upon hearing Wu Xiaoqing's words, Chen Fengli immediately became anxious and said angrily, "Old man, don't be confused at this time. It's true that he has been kind to us, but now that we're all in a hurry, it's not the time to talk about this. The group is gone, and we're all in trouble. What else can you repay the kindness with?" Upon seeing this, Wu Wanqing also said, "Mom is right. As the head of the family, you need to consider the family and not act impulsively. Now let Xiaoqing marry Wu Xiao, everything will be easy. Wu Xiao likes Xiaoqing so much, and I believe he will also treat Xiaoqing well. It's better than being with Xiao Chen." After hearing this, Wu Xiaoqing angrily said, "What is that Wu Xiao? Don't you know? He's just a playboy, a scumbag, and notorious in the deep sea. I don't want to marry him. I want to marry you and let my sister marry him." After listening, Wu Wanqing sarcastically said, "I'd rather get married, but it's you that Wu Xiao likes and you're in love with." At this moment, Wu Zhizong, who had been silent all along, said, "Mom and sister are right. Now only Xiaoqing can save the Wu family. Dad, you can't just watch our hard-working industry go bankrupt like this." At this moment, Wu Xiao came down with a group of hands to the Wu family. Among them, two people were dressed strangely, holding long knives and wolf-toothed sticks, looking extremely skilled in martial arts. As soon as Wu Xiao entered the door, he said, "How about that? Have you considered it clearly? As long as Wu Xiaoqing is willing to marry me, I will immediately have our Wu family lift the blockade on your Wu family. The Wu family owes us 100 million yuan in project funds, and we don't need to repay them. If we don't agree, we will let your Wu family go bankrupt today." Startled by Wu Xiao, the Wu family immediately became anxious. Chen Fengli immediately said to Wu Xiaoqing, "Xiaoqing, why don't you call Xiao Chen and ask him to bring the half of the jade pendant and cancel the engagement? Do you want our Wu family to go bankrupt today?" Faced with internal and external pressure, Wu Xiaoqing reluctantly dialed Xiao Chen's phone and asked him to immediately bring the half of the jade pendant to the Wu family. At this moment, Xiao Chen was in the villa of Yinlong Villa, discussing matters with Zhang Li and others. After receiving Wu Xiaoqing's call, Yi Qian immediately drove with her subordinates and followed Xiao Chen to the Wu family. As soon as Xiao Chen entered the Wu family, he felt a murderous aura. He glanced at the person brought by Wu Xiao and knew that the person who came today was not kind. Before Xiao Chen could speak, Chen Fengli said, "Xiao Chen, please return the half of the jade pendant to us. Let's forget about your engagement with our family Xiaoqing." After listening, Xiao Chen looked at Wu Xiaoqing and said, "Is that what you mean?" Wu Xiaoqing was afraid that Xiao Chen would be outnumbered and unable to defeat the people brought by Wu Xiao. He nervously said, "Yes, you can return the jade pendant to us and cancel our engagement." Upon seeing this, Wu Xiao proudly said, "You can't compete with me. In the deep sea, you're not even good at it. Don't think that you have any medical skills, it's amazing. To be honest, if you offend our Wu family in the deep sea, there is no good fruit to eat. If you are sensible, you will immediately hand over the jade pendant, cancel your engagement with Xiao Qing, and then leave the Wu family. I will not have any further dealings with the Wu family in the future. I can still spare you from death, otherwise today will be your death." After hearing this, Yi Qian beside her angrily said, How dare you speak wildly about our young master? You want to die." After speaking, Yi Qian and her subordinates wanted to draw their swords and fight, but they were stopped by Xiao Chen with a wave of his hand before withdrawing their swords. Upon seeing this, Wu Xiao thought he was trying to scare him and said, "Xiao Chen, where did you find these actors? They are quite beautiful. They're just a bit delicate. I'll give you another chance. Hand over the jade pendant quickly and leave the Wu family." Upon seeing this, Wu Xiaoqing quickly dissuaded Xiao Chen and said, "Xiao Chen, just hand it over. Otherwise, Wu Xiao won't let you go." Wu Qingyang also said kindly, "Xiao Chen, just listen to Xiao Qing and hand it over. It's our Wu family who are sorry for you." After listening, Xiao Chen looked at Wu Xiao and said, "He won't let me go, I won't let him go yet." Seeing Xiao Chen angry, Wu said nervously, "Xiao Chen, what do you want to do? I advise you not to play with fire." Xiao Chen then said, "So what about playing with fire?" Wu Xiao pointed to the two people behind him who were dressed strangely and said, "Do you know who they are?" Xiao Chen: "I don't know, I don't want to know either." Wu Xiao said, "One of them is the residual sword that defeated the world sword masters, and the other is the top 10 assassin on the list, Wolf Fang." After listening, Xiao Chen calmly said, "Are you going up together or?" Before Xiao Chen could finish speaking, the swordsman said, "Why use an ox knife to kill a chicken? I can take your life with just one move." After speaking, he stepped forward and prepared to draw his sword. Upon seeing this, Yi Qian quickly said, "Young master, let me destroy him." Xiao Chen: "It's okay, just watch me perform." "Speak shamelessly," said the remaining sword, and immediately drew his sword to stab Xiao Chen. Upon seeing this, Xiao Chen extended 2 fingers and grabbed the opponent's sword, then twisted his hand to break it. With the broken sword in his hand, he quickly stabbed it into the opponent's throat and used one move to defeat the enemy. The Wolf Fang on the side saw the situation and immediately raised his Wolf Fang stick to attack Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen saw a pen on the table in the living room and immediately felt lucky. With a wave of his hand, the pen flew towards Wolf Fang like a sword, passing through his chest and killing him with one move. Wu Xiaoji's remaining subordinates trembled and said, "Xiao Chen, if you dare to kill me, our Wu family will not let you go." Upon seeing this, Wu Qingyang quickly stopped and said, "Xiao Chen, you'd better hand over the jade pendant and leave quickly. The Wu family is the largest family in the deep sea, and you can't afford to provoke them." Wu Xiaoqing also said anxiously, "Yeah. Xiao Chen, you better hand over the jade pendant and leave quickly. You can't afford to offend the Wu family." Xiao Chen didn't want to make the Wu family difficult, so he took out the half of the jade pendant he had engaged to Wu Xiaoqing from his pocket and placed it on the table in the living room. He then left the Wu family with Yi Qian and others. After leaving the Wu family, Xiao Chen said to Yi Qian, "You have someone investigate why the Wu family is so afraid of the Wu family." After hearing this, Yi Qian immediately called and informed her subordinates to investigate the relationship between the Wu family and the Wu family, as well as the recent situation. Chapter 9. Vice President of Yinlong Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After returning to the villa at Yunding Villa, Zhongli still waited there for Xiao Chen, afraid of any accidents. As soon as Xiao Chen and others entered the room, they quickly asked, "Young master, are you okay?" Before Xiao Chen could answer, Yi Qian quickly replied, "There's something going on. The young master's matter is too big, and his marriage to that Wu Shaoqing is probably going to be ruined. Zhang Li asked nervously, how could this be? The Wu family is so ignorant that they dare to refuse the young master. Yi Qian. The young master still had a fight today. After hearing this, Zhang Li exclaimed in surprise, did the young master fight at the Wu family? Yi Qian. Yes, but the young master's martial arts are very powerful. He killed the opponent in just 1 or 2 moves. Zhang Li, how dare someone take the initiative against Xiao? Yi Qian said, it was Wu Xiao from the Wu family who went to the Wu family with a martial arts assassin to force marriage. The young master only took action, causing the young master to lose all his love tokens. It is estimated that the marriage will be ruined. After hearing this, Zhang Li said with a skeptical expression, how could this be? The Wu family is too untrustworthy. Their 10-year engagement is cancelled if they say it's cancelled. During the hot conversation between Yi Qian and Zhang Li, Xiao Chen sat alone on the sofa in the living room, lost in thought. After listening to Zhang Li's words, he weakly said, this cannot be blamed on the Wu family. They are also constrained by others and forced to do so. At this moment, Yi Qian suddenly received a phone call. After answering the call, Yi Qian said, young master, the matter has been investigated. The Wu family and the Wu family were originally in a commercial partnership, and the Wu family owes the Wu family 1 billion yuan in project funds. Recently, in order to gain Wu Xiaoqing's influence, the Wu family used their family influence to suppress the Wu family, causing many companies to sever their cooperation with the Wu family. Banks also blocked the Wu family's working capital for various reasons, causing the Wu family to face unprecedented difficulties, such as broken funding chains, operational difficulties, and a crisis of bankruptcy. After hearing this, Zhang Li angrily said, the Wu family is going too far. They are using such despicable means to oppress the weak and do whatever they want. After hearing this, Yi Qian also angrily said, who said it's not? If it weren't for the young master's fear of the Wu family's difficulties today, he might have already killed all the despicable Wu Xiao and others. After listening, Xiao Chen also said helplessly, to save the Wu family and make them change their mind, we need to find a way to help them break the blockade of the Wu family and solve their current financial crisis. After listening, Zhang Li pondered for a moment and said, young master, have you forgotten who I am? Xiao Chen said with a bewildered expression, no. Aren't you Zhang Li? Zhang Li, so, young master, what do I do? Xiao Chen. You are the president of Yinlong Group. Zhang Li, since the young master knows that I am the president of Hidden Dragon Group, what are you worried about? Zhang Li's words made Xiao Chen's mind skip a beat. Yes. Mr. Zhang, you are the president of Yinlong Group. So why are we afraid of the Wu family? Zhang Li, so, what about being the head of the 4 major families? In front of our Hidden Dragon Group, it's just a small family. At this moment, Yi Qian interjected, I think so. The young master wants to save the Wu family. If he wants to help the Wu family, make them look up to him, and make Wu Shaoqing change his mind, he needs to have an identity. Otherwise, they will always treat the young master as a country bumpkin or a scammer and distrust him. After listening, Xiao Chen also agreed with Yi Qian's thoughts and said, Yi Qian makes sense. You people from the mountain are just snobbish, and you have to talk about your background and everything. All day long, your mind is full of money, that Wu Xiao's mind is full of dirty things. After listening, Zhang Li pondered for a moment and said, this is not easy. As long as the young master wants it, I can immediately give up the position of the president of Hidden Dragon Group to the young master. After listening, Xiao Chen quickly said, Mr. Zhang, please don't do this. The position is too high. After listening, Zhang Li jokingly said, young master, please don't be so polite. I can't afford it. Just being the president of the Hidden Dragon Group is nothing to you. Xiao Chen explained, if the position is too high suddenly, the Wu family won't believe it either. Besides, the operation of the group still requires you, the CEO of the first beautiful woman in the deep sea, to be in charge. How can I seize the beauty of others? Isn't there no CEO of the first beautiful woman in the deep sea like this? After hearing this, Zhongli felt a bit embarrassed and said, I don't care about the title of the first beautiful CEO in the deep sea. It's all those lascivious people who call it nonsense. Young master, after becoming the CEO, I will become the secretary or vice president of the young master, serving and protecting him. Upon hearing this, Yi Qian immediately became unhappy and said, Mr. Zhang, do you want to snatch my job? Serving and protecting the young master has always been my job. Don't be delusional. Zhongli said, oh my. I just casually said that someone gets angry. Yi Qian, you won't like the young master anymore. The young master has a fiancée AE. I'm going to tell Wu Shaoqing of the Wu family that she has a rival in love. After hearing this, Yi Qian shyly said, no way. Young master, don't listen to her nonsense. Xiao Chen listened to the awkward conversation between Zhongli and Yi Qian on the side and said awkwardly, don't make fun of me, you two. We haven't finished our business yet. After listening to this, Zhongli pondered for a moment and said, since the young master thinks it's not appropriate to become the president now, the young master should feel aggrieved and temporarily serve as the vice president of the Hidden Dragon Group. This way, in the eyes of outsiders, you will also have status, and will no longer be treated as a country bumpkin or a fraud. This way, you will not be so angry in front of the Wu family. They know that you are backed by the Hidden Dragon Group and dare not provoke you casually. What do you think about the economic issues that Yinlong Group will handle on behalf of the young master? How about this arrangement? After listening, Xiao Chen pondered for a moment and said, I think it's possible, Yi Qian. What do you think? After hearing this, Yi Qian jokingly said, as long as Mr. Zhang doesn't take my job. Zhongli, since the young master agrees, after returning to the company, I will immediately ask the publicity department to modify the materials and publicly announce the identity of the vice president of the young master Hidden Dragon Group. After listening, Xiao Chen jokingly said, thank you, Mr. Zhang. After listening, everyone burst into laughter. Thus, the vice president of Yinlong Group was born. Xiao Chen understood that there were many rules at the foot of the mountain, and he had to follow the customs when in Rome. In the lobby of the underground dragon slaying pavilion in Kyoto, a woman wearing a maid's guard uniform was reporting to the female leader wearing a female official uniform sitting in the lobby, I inform you, the leader, that the swordsman we sent to the deep sea, Kan Jian, has been killed and the mission has failed. In the lobby of the deep sea underground dragon killing club, a woman wearing a black robe and half covering her face is reporting to the leader sitting on a chair in the lobby, wearing a half-face mask. Report to the leader, the assassin we sent to the Wu family, Wolf Fong, has been killed and the mission has failed. Chapter 10. The Destruction of the Wu Family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The announcement of Xiao Chen as the vice president of Hidden Dragon Group by Hidden Dragon Group immediately triggered an earthquake in the deep-sea business world, causing speculation and discussion about Xiao Chen's background and identity. In the lobby of the underground dragon slaying pavilion in Kyoto, a woman wearing a maid's guard uniform was reporting to the female leader wearing a female official uniform sitting in the lobby. To inform the leader, the Hidden Dragon Group in the deep sea has just announced an important personnel appointment, and there seems to be strength behind that person. He is now the vice president of the Hidden Dragon Group, second only to Zhongli, the first beautiful president of the deep sea. Female leader. As soon as I stepped down the mountain, I stirred up the storm in the deep sea business world. This kid is really not easy. The female guard said, what should we do next? Female leader. Notify us in the deep sea to suppress and sanction him. We cannot let him stir up trouble in the deep sea business world and threaten the safety of our master. Female guard. I will go and handle it immediately. After learning about Xiao Chen's appointment as vice president of Yinlong Group, the Wu family was shocked and panicked. They knew about Xiao Chen's relationship with the Wu family, so the matter of Wu Xiao marrying Wu Xiaoqing was completely hopeless. They understood that although the Wu family was the leader of the four major families in the deep sea, they were nothing in front of the hidden dragon group. No one dared to stand on their side and confront the hidden dragon group, and the banks dared not offend this god of wealth. In this way, the financial crisis of the Wu family was immediately lifted. After seeing the news that Xiao Chen was appointed as the vice president of Yinlong Group, the Wu family was also very surprised and couldn't believe their own eyes. You should know that for the hidden dragon group, even the 10 Wu families cannot compare. It is an unattainable existence. However, it is indeed true that Xiao Chen has been appointed as the vice president of Yinlong Group. Yinlong Group has released the appointment information. Subsequently, Wu Wanqing also received information that the blockade of the Wu family had been lifted, and various companies in the deep sea had offered olive branches of cooperation to the Wu family. Banks had also lifted the financial blockade on the Wu family. The Wu family is very happy at this moment. However, they also worried, thinking about their previous attitude towards Xiao Chen and the things that offended him. They regretted it a bit. In order to obtain Wu Xiaoqing, the Wu family discussed and tricked him into coming to the office of the Wu family group under the pretext of negotiating cooperation. Then, the overlord forcefully arched the bow and cooked rice. What else could the Wu family do? After the conspiracy was completed, Wu Xiao called Wu Qingyang and said, "Previously, it was my fault for doing many extreme things. To express our apologies, our Wu family has decided to sign a construction project contract worth 1 billion yuan with the Wu family as compensation. Please let Xiaoqing visit our Wu family office, and we have prepared the contract." After the call, Wu Qingyang held a family meeting to discuss the matter. Chen Fengli, Wu Wanqing, and Wu Zhizong all believe that this is an opportunity for the rise of the Wu family and cannot be missed. Wu Qingyang also believes that this is an opportunity that cannot be missed. However, Wu Xiaoqing was not willing to meet that Wu Xiao. After much trial and error by everyone, Wu Xiaoqing reluctantly agreed. Wu Qingyang was worried that there might be some mistakes when Wu Xiaoqing went alone to sign such a large contract, so he said to his eldest daughter Wu Wanqing, "Wanqing, why don't you accompany Xiaoqing on a trip and help me check it out?" After listening, Wu Wanqing said, but Wu Xiao only said to let Xiaoqing go alone. "I'll accompany you, isn't it inappropriate?" Chen Fengli also said, "Yes. Don't be confused, old man. If it makes Wu Xiao unhappy, wouldn't that matter go to waste?" After pondering for a moment, Wu Qingyang felt that what Wu Wanqing and Chen Fengli said made sense, so he said to Wu Xiaoqing, "Xiaoqing, you should go sign it alone. Wu Xiao only believes in you." Wu Xiaoqing said helplessly, "All right then. I'll set off and go to the Wu family group." After speaking, Wu Xiaoqing went out with a briefcase in hand. After Wu Xiaoqing left, Wu Qingyang was worried that Wu Xiaohui would do something out of line, so he called Xiao Chen and told him about Wu Xiaoqing going to the Wu family group alone to sign a contract. After learning the news, Xiao Chen felt that something was wrong and said to Yi Qian, "I have an urgent matter to go out." After hearing this, Yi Qian was worried that Xiao Chen might be in danger and quickly said, "Young master, I'll accompany you." After speaking, Yi Qian took several subordinates and drove Xiao Chen to the Wu family group. At this point, Wu Xiaoqing had already arrived at the top office of the Wu family group. In the office, Wu's homeowner, Wu Feng and Wu Xiao, had already been waiting there, and next to them stood 3 people wearing strange clothes and holding different weapons, looking very skilled in martial arts. There are also some attendants from the Wu family who usually follow. After seeing Wu Xiaoqing alone come, Wu Feng said to Wu Xiaoqing, "Let the matter be handled by the young people themselves." After speaking, he left the conference room with everyone and closed the door. Wu Xiao saw the situation and asked Wu Xiaoqing to sit down on the sofa in the conference room. He then pretended to hold a contract and came to Wu Xiaoqing's face. Taking advantage of Wu Xiaoqing's lack of attention, he suddenly pounced on Wu Xiaoqing and pressed him under his body, saying, "Today you're with me. This $1 billion contract belongs to your Wu family. With such a large contract, your Wu family must pay a price. Seeing this, the Wu family struggled and said, "Wu Xiao, what do you want to do? Xiao Chen knows how you treat me like this, and he will definitely not let you go." Not to mention that Xiao Chen is okay. When Wu Xiaoqing mentioned Xiao Chen, Wu Xiao immediately angrily said, "He was originally a rural bumpkin. I don't know what kind of bad luck he had." He flattered Zhongli from the Hidden Dragon group, which allowed him to wield his power. Compared to our Wu family, Xiao Chen is not even worthy of lifting my shoes. At this moment, Xiao Chen suddenly kicked the door and entered the office with Yi Qian and others. Then, Xiao Chen quickly walked up to Wu Xiao and kicked him away, pulling Wu Xiaoqing up from the sofa and handing him over to Yi Qian for protection. Wu Xiao, who was kicked to the ground, angrily said, "Xiao Chen, how dare you take action against me? Do you think this is in your Hidden Dragon group?" Xiao Chen said calmly, "Do you still need to look at the place to deal with someone like you? I have been holding you back for a long time, and the reason why I haven't touched your Wu family is that I hope you can restrain yourself a bit. Now that you dare to plan against my fiancé AE like this, you still speak wildly and don't know how to repent. If you stay in this world again, it will be unacceptable." Wu rarely saw Xiao Chen want to take it seriously and quickly shouted, "Dad." Before Wu Xiao could finish speaking, Xiao Chen waved his hand and a pen on the table flew towards Wu Xiao like a flying knife, passing through his chest and body. Wu Xiao was instantly killed in a flash. After hearing his son shout in another office, Wu Feng quickly brought 3 experts and a group of thugs to Xiao Chen's office. As soon as he entered the door, he saw his son's body lying on the ground and angrily said, "How dare you, Xiao Chen, kill my son? I want none of you to leave here alive." Xiao Chen said, "It was he who caused it on his own. It was he who wanted to bully my fiancé AE and even spoke wildly, which led to his murder." Wu Feng angrily pointed to Wu Xiaoqing beside him and said, "She is a little girl from the Wu family. My son looks up to her by playing with her, it's her honor. If we want to cooperate with the Wu family, how can we do it without paying any price?" After listening, Xiao Chen angrily said, "Indeed, like a father, like a son. If the upper beam is not upright, the lower beam is crooked. Over the years, your Wu family has been acting recklessly in the deep sea, oppressing good deeds, and plotting wealth and killing. Today, I will act on behalf of heaven and eradicate this malignant tumor in the deep sea." After hearing this, Wu Xiao angrily said, "You're not ashamed of your words. Do you know who these 3 people are standing in front of you? To be honest, they came here today specifically to wait for you." After listening, Xiao Chen said calmly, "I would rather listen." Wu Feng pointed at the 3 people in front of him and introduced them one by one, saying, "This is a Lingshu Taoist who is already at the pinnacle of martial arts, this is Lord Luo of the island, whose marksmanship is invincible in the world, and this is a master of martial arts, with first-class swordsmanship." After listening, Xiao Chen sneered and said, "Are you going up together or one?" Wu Feng angrily said, "If you kill my son, I will dismember you into countless pieces, go up together, and kill him." After listening, Xiao Chen quickly said, "Yi Qian, protect my fiancé A." Yi Qian. "Young master, please rest assured." After speaking, Xiao Chen faced off against 3 experts in a 1-on-1 battle. Yi Qian and her subordinates were responsible for the thugs of the Wu family. The Lingshu Taoist wielded a whip and hit Xiao Chen, but was hit by Xiao Chen's palm and fell to the ground. He spat out blood from his mouth and died in agony. Subsequently, the master wielded a knife and swung towards Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen turned to his side and grabbed the hand holding the knife, snatching it away. Then, with a single swing of the true Qi sword, Lord Luo and his inner experts were immediately knocked away by the sword's aura, and fell to the ground, spitting out blood and dying. In addition, all other thugs were also eliminated by Yi Qian and others. Upon seeing this, Wu Feng immediately knelt down and begged for mercy, "Just let me go. My son bullied a man and a woman, and he deserves his life." Xiao Chen angrily said, "It's a bit late to beg for mercy now, don't you think? If you had a little bit of humanity before taking action, perhaps I could have let go of your Wu family. It's too late to regret now. Seeing that Xiao Chen was determined to kill him, Wu Feng said fiercely, "Don't think you're just the vice president of Yinlong Group. If you kill me, the people of Wuchen Group won't let you go." After listening, Xiao Chen angrily said, "Then let them come over and let them ride their horses." After speaking, Xiao Chen waved the big knife in his hand and a burst of sword energy instantly flew towards Wu Feng, killing him in seconds. At this point, the Wu family no longer exists in the deep sea. Subsequently, Xiao Chen said to Yi Qian, "Notify relevant parties to handle the aftermath work and merge the assets of the Wu family into the Hidden Dragon Group." After hearing this, Yi Qian immediately contacted the relevant parties to handle the aftermath of the Wu family, and then replied to Xiao Chen, "Master Hui, the matter has been ordered." Xiao Chen. "Then let's take Xiao Qing home first, and then we'll go back." Yi Qian. "Yes, young master." After speaking, Xiao Chen and others left the Wu family group, and the forces behind it will gradually emerge.